I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and ride on time.
Alright, hopefully my phone doesn't break because I don't have a case and you guys are leaned on a rock on a post. I had a box but it wouldn't work, so I hope this doesn't break. I don't got another $200 to buy a phone. Come on, Boog. Come on. Okay, so welcome back, guys. And today I'm just working on some more baby steps with Boog. Just preparing him again for the saddle and a rider and all that. You'll see here he's still somewhat head shy at times. He does not like the reins going over his head and the bridle going over his face. If you guys have seen him with the halter in the past videos, he just drops his head completely. We're not there with the bit yet. I'm gonna try to start doing what I do in this video today daily, but with how cold it's been, I'm not sure yet. So here I'm just trying to get his head down and he raises it, so I just keep my hand there until he lowers it. And then I just kind of take the reins away, put it above his ears, keep his head until he drops it. There. I should have released there, but I didn't. It's okay, we all make mistakes. There. Kept his head down, so I just kind of rubbed him. See when I go to put the bridle on. Again, with the head raised. So you can't see because I'm on the other side, but I'm actually kind of pinching behind his ear, trying to get his head back down. And putting my finger in his mouth, trying to get it open. He's more of a... Most horses, you know, you stick your finger in there in the beginning and they just kind of open their mouth. Him, you kind of have to dig your nails or your fingertips into his gum to get him to open. But I do like how as soon as the bit's in, he drops his head back down. Just fixing his mane, asking for his head down. Sorry if you guys can't see very well. I'm waiting on a new case still. So, I'm just going to start off with some basics. Get him paying attention and focusing. If you're asking where my boots are, they have giant holes in them, so there's no point in wearing them. That's why I'm in tennis shoes. Just asking him to yield. You see that side, I just barely have to kind of lean and he yields. There, it kind of just happened a little. And then this side, I kind of have to really get after him. He's kind of numb on this side, I kind of want to call it. Where he just, don't, you know, he's not really paying attention. He doesn't really care that you're there. So there. The first time I tapped him, so he was kind of like, oh, okay, I need to move now. That tail swish is because I kind of tapped him like that. I used to correct him, but he doesn't kick out when he does them anymore, so I kind of ignore him now. Just asking for the shoulder to come over. I hate how he keeps moving, so I just kind of pull his head over and ask him to stand. Now I'm asking him to back up, and he's kind of freaking out. Now I'm going to swing until he stops and then comes forward. Because I did swing to kind of ask him back, and that's when he freaked out. So I'm going to swing and bring him forward into the swing. Licking and chewing. Asking for this shoulder to go over. He's kind of going forward rather than over, so I just kind of give him a little quick pop. Kind of has a habit of I don't want to on this side. Ask him to back. Now here I'm just trying to get him used to something tapping him on the back. So I'll continue to do this until he stands still. I do, when you see me popping on the bed a little bit right there, rhythmically, I'm just trying to get him to understand to stand still and kind of get him to pay attention. Wiley, don't. There. Asking for a shoulder over. Get him used to it on this side. Ask him to side pass. Yield. Now I'm asking him to side pass here. He kind of goes in a circle, then tries to go straight. So I just kind of pop a little bit and say, nope, that's not what I'm asking. So I'll continue to do it until he goes sideways. Now he's still trying to go forward here. So I'm just going to pop a little bit and say, nope. Now he's ignoring it, so I just tap him a little harder, and there, he side passed. I know I'm a little bit late on the timing. He kind of freaked out about it being thrown, that's why he didn't want to come forward right there. Work on, what did I work on next? Jumping. Revving. Flexing. There he gave. Yielding. Same thing on this side. This side I bring his head in when I jump just because I know he's kind of more like, dude, why are you doing that? So I'm just showing him the right answer. He's a little more stiff on this side flexing, so I'll kind of bump, release, until he kind of does it. If I have to, I'll shorten up my rope. Just stand there until he gives. Give him some bumps here and there to kind of get him to pay attention. There he gave. Again, asking him to flex. There he gave, so I just rub him on the face. Ask him to back and yield. And here he kind of bumps his back legs on the stool. I'm okay with that, because that means he's not going to be afraid of anything touching his back legs. Flex. There he gave. Rubbed his face a little bit. Ask him to yield again. Back up a little bit. There. Good boy. He's doing pretty good overall. He does get in trouble later on. You guys will see. And here I'm asking him to go over. And he's ignoring me. So I'm just kind of taking my hand and popping him a little bit. If you can see right there. Because I don't want to have to use the whip every time to get him to yield. Now if you watch right here, it's big. He did not lift his head. If you guys watch any of my other videos where I kind of got up to be above him, or to get on him, or to lean on him, he always shoots his head up. So just kind of lean, rub him, then I'll lift up my leg on one side, and rub on the other side so he sees movement on both sides. I'm just taking my time with him, I'm not going to rush. Ask him to yield, he's ignoring, kind of pop him on the butt with my hand a little bit and say, nope, I'm serious. I can tell he's going to be a horse that doesn't really like spurs. Because I kind of just take my fingertips and kind of poke at him a little bit to get him to move, and he's really active with the tail. Kind of pet on him, let him know I'm up there. Lean. Again, do the same thing here. Move my leg. Have it rub and touch him. Moving my hand on the other side. So there's movement on both sides and pressure in the middle. And on one side. Ask him to move over. There, he got stuck a little bit. Just kind of help him out. This stool is not very sturdy. You'll see me move it a lot. Now, there he raised his head, but not because of me getting up. My dad had came outside. He really likes my parents, so he's like, ooh, more people. Just kind of rub on him, lean on him. Now, right here, I stayed for a while because you can't see it in the video, but he's leaning away while I'm leaning on him, and I don't want that. So I'll try my best to stay on like this until he gives a little bit and stops the leaning. You can see him bracing on his front leg to the outside leg. So there, he quit leaning, so I just kind of gave him his head back. Here I'm asking him to bring his shoulder in, and he did pretty good. I didn't want his butt to move, I just wanted that shoulder leg to come in. Shoulder leg. You guys know what I mean. So there, if you look, my feet are off the stool. That's good for him. Just kind of tap him, get off, and I'm going to give him a big release. I'm going to pet him on the face. Rub his eyes. He loves his eyes rubbed. Give him a kiss. Walk away. Just a big release for standing there with the pressure. Kind of walk away for a minute. Bring him back. The opposite side. And that was his release. He kind of got to think about that for a minute. Now here I'm asking him to move over. See his tail swish and his legs come towards me. I wanted his butt over. I didn't want him walking on me like he was trying to. So I just keep his head bent and kind of pop him on the butt. And just kind of make him really think. And then I kind of wave my arm and he goes right up. That's one thing I've noticed with him. If you correct him and try something afterwards, he's like, oh, okay, I've got it. Okay, that's what you wanted. And he doesn't really hold a grudge. Skyla kind of holds a grudge where if you get after her once, like, that's it. That's it. You know, she doesn't like you after that. She was like, get away from me after that. I think this is where it happens. I'm not sure. I'm not going to give away what happens yet. Kind of lean on him with his head flexed. Get off and give him his head. Rub him, give him some mane scratches. Oh, he likes that. You don't always have to walk away to give him a reward. Just give him some scratches in a spot that they want. There I asked for his head and he was stiff, so I kind of popped it. I can't remember if this is where it happens or not. Give him his head, get down, ask him to yield. Good. So the reason I'm working him in a bit is because he is super stiff with it still, because I don't do it every single day. Ask him to go over like I wanted. He's kind of ignoring me a little bit. So he's good on the halter for most things, so I'd rather go work on the bit, because when I'm riding I want to have control, and if I can't have control on a stool on the ground, then there's no way under saddle I'm going to have control. You guys will see me in a little bit try and get him to back up from the stool, and it takes quite a bit. I'm just kind of leaning, touching his flank. If you see me lean kind of weird, he's not liking his flank being touched still. I like to gather up that other rein so that if they take off, I kind of have some more leverage, kind of. There he's leaning again, but he's holding the weight pretty good. He's not leaning, you know, to take off and buck or anything like that. He's just trying to figure out, okay, she's on me, and how do I support this weight plus my weight? He's not doing it to be harsh. I'd try to do it on both sides as much as possible, but I'd mostly do it on the right because I'm right-sided. Not very good with my left, but I still do at least some. Again, he's holding my weight. There he kind of shifted his back end, and he's really leaning if you look right now. So when they get that far to leaning, I just kind of get off. Just because I think it was right there. His front leg was kind of bowing out while he was leaning, so he's losing his balance. So I don't want to go down, and I don't want him to go down with me on the side of him, because then that's going to make him think, oh, last time this happened. I don't want that to happen. So I also grab his mane and both reins when I do this. Now I think it's right here. And the looks of it. No? I didn't even expect this video to be this long. I thought it was only 10 or 15 minutes. But you guys can see a big difference in him. With his head low, with me being up there. Every time I used to get up there, he'd kind of jerk his head up. I haven't done this since the last video, actually. Bringing his shoulder over, asking. Again, he moves his hindquarters, but that's okay. He'll eventually get to where he doesn't need to move his hindquarters to bring that shoulder in. Here I'm asking him to back because he just went a little too far forward. It doesn't look like it in frame, but he did. I'm just holding the steady pressure. There, he backed up. I release. Give him some scratches. Tell him what a good boy he is. There. Just kind of hug on him, lean on him, pat him. He doesn't like being hugged from the ground. He kind of pushes you over a little bit. Not in a mean way, just like, kind of like, I'm not the lovey-dovey, get off me kind of attitude. So we're working on that. Anything they don't like, we're gonna do. I think it's right here. I don't know. Give him his head back. Rub on him. Touch his flank. I like that. He's not swishing his tail. It wasn't actually too bad out there with the weather. It was actually pretty warm. I could have hosed him off, but just didn't want to. He wasn't that hot. I worked him a little bit after this video, just kind of lunging him because I haven't worked with him in a while. Just kind of making sure he still checks in with me and pays attention while lunging. Now here I'm just asking him to kind of go around me so that he gets used to me being above him while he's moving. I don't think I did it on the other side. Again, I did most of it on the right, but I did do some left work. Now, is it right? Leaning a little bit. There's where I popped him on the nose. So you guys can't see it, but he was playing with the bit. Now I'm going to back him up, and I'll tell you in a second. I'm going to back him up, get after him a little bit, after I popped him on the nose with my foot. And then that's the end of the punishment. What had happened was, I don't know if he was playing with the bit or what he was doing, but he did pinch my leg with his teeth. He nipped my leg. There was no broken skin or anything like that. But I can't allow it because he does tend to do this quite a bit when I'm doing these types of things with him. And so it is him kind of telling me, I'm uncomfortable, don't go any further. But there has to be a correction. Because for every little nip that you don't correct, there's going to be a bite later on. So I just kind of popped him with my foot against his nose. And got down, backed him up, brought him forward, and left it alone at that. Instead of getting angry and just jerking on him and being mean to him. So here I'm just kind of leaning just to make sure he wasn't going to do it again. And he's doing pretty good here. So I'm going to start staying on a little bit longer here and there. Just so he gets used to it, so it's not always, oh, I thought you were getting off here, so get off me. And kind of moving away. Because that has happened before too, where you do these little short leans, and then when you do a little bit of a longer lean, they're kind of like, dude, get away from me. You've never done it this long. I love how low his head is right now. The reins are up on his neck. I don't have a hold of him. And I'm just kind of watching the turkeys. Letting him think. Especially after getting after him and kind of popping him in the nose with my foot. I really want him to be comfortable with me and think. So there, I just kind of let him have his head. He lifted it a little bit, but that's okay. Here, I'm just kind of leaning on him. Letting him get used to some of the weight. Touching his flank. I like how he kind of looks to me there. Now he gets a little flinchy here. Which, can't blame him after being popped in the nose with my foot. He will get punchy here in a second. Ask him to flex. Wait till he gives. There, he gave a little. He's still really tight. There, he gave. He gets punchy after the flexing. But you can't blame him. I mean, he just got popped in the nose with a foot. But you have to. It's just like a foal. If they bite you and play around, the more you let them, the more they're going to think it's okay to do, and the more issues you're going to have. There, he lowered his head. This is the side he's really stiff on. There. There's a good blow. So I'm just kind of working on it back and forth. There, he gave. There, he gave. There, I like that. He kept his head halfway in. There's, he's a little flinchy. Can't blame him. Quit, Wiley. So I just kind of level on him. Let him know, hey, it's okay. We're past that. We're good. That's over with. I'm super proud of this horse. How far he's coming at. I think it's been 4 months, 5 months. This side he's a little stiff on. So just hold. There, he gave. I love how he's taking his head back slowly. He's not going super slow, but he is going slow. And he's lowering it right away. Most horses in the beginning will jerk their head back and raise it. So there, I kind of popped on him a few times until he gave. I'm looking for him to kind of keep his head inward when I release. There, he gave. So there, he kept his head in, and then he moved it out. So I'm going to pick up. So he's not giving, so I kind of shorten up the line and pop it a little bit. There. Go again. Since I did have to shorten and pop it, I will go again a couple times just to kind of make sure that I'm not going to have to do that every time. So. Now. Here's where I think I grabbed, my long lunge whip. We actually had to put that kind of scared him when it flapped, so I kind of just flapped it in front of him. Well, you're going to have to put a screw tap through the 2 metal pieces because the hot glue only lasted like 2 weeks. A week. So he's kind of like, get away from me, I don't want that thing near me. And that's just because he got corrected. So he kind of went forward when I wasn't asking him to. That's when I kind of popped on him there. He's kind of being pushy, not wanting to listen, so I'm just giving him a little couple pops, like I would if I was in her saddle if he wasn't listening. I would kind of close my legs a little bit and tap with my legs and kind of pull on the bit just a little bit. You notice I'm not pulling hard. Just gonna desensitize him. Again, he hasn't been worked with in about a week. Keep that in mind. I know horses that are completely quiet and sound, but you go 1 day without desensitizing them, and they're super flinchy and high-strung and all that crap, but as soon as you kind of work with them for a few minutes, they're back to their normal selves. They just need a reminder almost. Not all horses are like that. Now, I don't think you guys can see this. Okay, I'm not sure what you guys can see because it won't let me make a full screen. But I'm flogging his back legs because he still hates things touching his butt and his back legs. So we're working on that. I've tried throwing ropes between his legs and kind of tying it loose enough to where it'll move up and down his legs, but tight enough to where if he takes off bucking, it's not going to hurt him, but he's not going to get caught up in it. And it's not really working out. I mean, he's figuring out how to step and get it off. So we'll have to figure something else out. Now here I don't even have a hold of him. Just desensitizing his face. So you can see he's not really flinching now. It was just a few minutes after the correction, which is normal. It's like a kid. If you spank him on the butt, and then you expect to give them a hug, they're gonna be like, dude, get away from me. And then maybe after like a half hour, they're gonna be like, okay. So here I kind of amped up the pressure. That's why he raised his head. There he kind of raised his head a little bit. That's okay though. They all have their good and their bad sides. Wiley, stop. Just flogging his legs. Now, I'm just kind of flinging it on him. Just getting him used to something kind of being thrown around. Over his neck. Over his face to his butt. See, he's just falling asleep. Now here I'm asking him to kind of move. And he said no, so I just kind of tapped him a little bit and said, no, I'm serious, move. There he moved when I didn't ask him to, so I just kind of yielded his butt and asked him to go over a little bit, just so he was paying a little bit more attention to what I'm asking and what I'm not asking. Again, he just drops his head really, really low, good boy, from front to back with it swinging over his body. Pick up the pace, with the swinging, he's doing really good. Swinging it around. This whip makes a lot of noise. Just crack it to the butt, he did good. Now let's crack it to the face, he did good. See, he's not flinching now. Okay, so next is his feet. I hope I got this in frame. This is why I like my snap reins. His cue to pick up his feet is kiss, just like trot, and his cue to put his head down is cluck, just like canter. A lot of people won't do a double cue, but I find if I do the one on the ground right next to him and then under saddle, they don't really get it mixed up, but maybe some horses do. Now, this is a big thing for him if you guys watch. Remember how he used to kick out his leg and swish his tail the second that I touched his back leg? Doing so much better. So I'm going on this side, so I'm going to switch my clip. And I like to bring his head in just a little bit, just because sometimes he still is a little kicky with that back end on this side. You already seen that tail switch just from me going around. It's mainly this side. Now the front I will work on holding, because he's getting better at them. The back I will not work on holding at the moment. I will just kind of work on picking him up until he kind of learns that, you know, you don't need to overreact every single time I go to touch him. See there, he cocked his leg and swished his tail. A lot of people would think that's a good thing, but since he has struck out with his legs when he does that, I take it as a sign of no, that's not a good thing. So I just kind of move him forward. And then he cocked his leg again. So I just kind of asked him to back up and straighten up his leg. Bring his head in a little bit. Just so if he goes to kick out, his head's in towards me. See there, he kind of flinched when I touched his leg. So I just kind of moved him around. Placed him. And left him alone. Asked for his head a little bit. Making sure the reine's loose enough. Now there, I'm going... I think this is where I went too long. I felt a bump right there. He kind of cocked his leg a little bit, so I just kind of asked him to back up a little bit. Tell him that's not the right answer. I think he got a bug bite. That's what I felt. There, he kind of cocked his leg, so I swung the rope at him. He ignored it, so I kind of tapped him a couple times at the end of the clip, and then he finally moved. Asked him to go in a circle. Just asking him to move when he does things that I don't like. Sometimes I'll have to do this and switch my hand. And then I'll retreat because he didn't do anything. He didn't switch his tail, it didn't cock his leg, it didn't move, he didn't bow his leg out, he didn't strike. So I just kind of retreated and rubbed him. There he moved, I didn't ask him to. So I moved him. Ask him for his head. Go back to rubbing his butt. Just rubbing. Switch hands and go down. Here he lifts, but he jerks it. So when they jerk it, I will hold it until they quit, and then I'll release it. And then I'll go back and I'll pick it up again so that he doesn't think that it's okay to jerk his leg up like that. If their grandkids were picking up his legs and they did that, that would not be good with how little they are. So there, I ask again. Now he's a little stiff to pick it up, but that's okay. That'll get better over time. I'd rather him be a little stiff picking up his leg than to kick out and jerk. Just take off the bit. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I will just let you watch the ending. Ask for his head to go down. You notice as soon as I go to take his bit off, he's like, okay, I'll drop my head. And then I'll keep my hand here until he lowers his head. There. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye, guys.